The year was 1997. The place was Kings Island, Mason, Ohio, Math and Science Day field trip. And 15-year-old Eric Sztanyo, who was scared to death of going on roller coasters, was invited to go on the Vortex with a huge crush of mine, Jessica Sherman. It was a magical day. It was a magical moment. And hey, that's what we're going to talk about in this video, is all the different magical moments you could have by living in Mason, Ohio. All right, guys, welcome back. This is Eric Sztanyo from Keller Williams Realty and TeamStanyo.com. And I'm not going to go into all of the details of that glorious day and that terrifying ride down the Vortex, which no longer exists at Kings Island. Very sad. But I am going to give you 5 reasons why Mason, Ohio is an awesome place to live. We're going to go through them one by one here, just so you guys know if this video is helpful for you. If you're looking for any kind of real estate in the Greater Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky area, make sure you like this video. Please subscribe, comment down below. Tell me your favorite Kings Island moment of all time if you have one. This video is definitely for people who are from the Cincinnati area who might be looking to move to Mason, or if you're from out of town and you're looking at the different neighborhoods in Cincinnati, you want to know what are some of the top neighborhoods, what are some of the top cities around Cincinnati. That's what we're going to go through, and I've got 5 reasons why Mason really is a great place to live. So let's jump into them. So in case you didn't know, money.com ranked Mason, Ohio the 21st best place to live in all of America in 2020. So what is it about Mason, Ohio that makes it such a great place to live? Well, the first reason I would say is Mason, Ohio is a ton of fun. There of like all the different places you could live in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky, Mason is like the giant playground that's awesome. So if I were to click onto this from money.com, most people might know about Kings Island, and so money.com says here, the southwestern Ohio city is famous for fun. The 364-acre Kings Island amusement park is the largest in the Midwest and boasts the world's longest wooden roller coaster. That's the beast. You got to do it. It's gonna rattle you a little bit because it's wood, but hey, it's the longest wooden roller coaster in the world. So Kings Island is a ton of fun. I've got so many amazing memories of going to Kings Island as a kid. And as a kid, it was really the only reason I wanted to go to Mason, Ohio. And I grew up in Florence, Kentucky, went to Boone County High School. But roller coasters like this one, the Orion that's coming out, my heart is racing just watching this computer video of it. So super fun. And that's not the only place of fun. The other thing you have in Mason, Ohio, you have the Western and Southern Cincinnati, the Western and Southern Open that happens at the Western and Southern Stadium. So a giant tennis tournament every year. You've got Federer coming in and Serena Williams, and it's really fun because Cincinnati has like kind of this more laid back atmosphere. So all the pros always come here because there's not as much press as if they're at New York or the French Open or whatever. They love the Cincinnati venue because it's a little bit more laid back and enjoyable for them. So that's another huge fun area. The other thing you have right next to Kings Island is Great Wolf Lodge, which these kind of spring up all across the country, but this indoor water park that when the winter gets a little bit colder in the Cincinnati area and you can't play outdoors now, of course, we've got the COVID, everyone, you got to do what you got to do with COVID, but hey, they're still open for business and you can go in and still have a blast at this, indoor water park. I took my kids there last year. We had an absolute amazing time. We did the sleepover there. They have story time for the kids. Like, it was just so much fun, so much fun. So that is number one reason why you should move, why Mason, Ohio is a great place to live. It's a ton of fun. And I didn't even talk about the different parks, that the city has, but there's so many good things to do. Okay, so number 2, The second reason why you might want to consider Mason, Ohio is jobs. It's a great place for jobs. So I'm going back to this money.com article, and it says serious employment opportunities exist in this city of 34,000. Mason houses Procter & Gamble's largest research and development center, which reopened after renovations last year and employs 3,000 people. COVID-related demand for cleaning products may be why Mason seems to be weathering the 2020 recession better than some other places, and why the median household income is over $106,000. Now, I don't know where you live right now. That might not seem like a lot if you live in California or New York or something like that. And check out our cost of living video that we did on Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, $106,000 goes a long way. And just popping over here to this Cincinnati.com article right here, saying that P&G unveils its largest research and development center in the world. It's in Mason, Ohio. So Procter & Gamble unveiled on Wednesday its new and improved and much larger Mason Business Center. Now home base to 2,800 P&G workers, the building is the company's largest research and development center in the world, surpassing a Singapore R&D facility. P&G spent $400 million to expand the center. That's great. So, and P&G is not the only large company in Mason, Ohio. You also have Cintas and Luxottica. It's a very vibrant, there's a lot of different businesses there, but obviously P&G, one of the largest businesses in the world, has opened up their largest R&D facility in the world. So you've got all these great jobs, and if you're looking for real estate, if you're looking for locations to live and cities to live, one of the things that should be driving that decision when, you know the phrase in real estate, which is location, 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 you need to know, are there jobs happening in that city? And for Mason, Ohio, that answer is yes. And so you can feel good as a buyer knowing that if the economy is strong, if jobs are coming into the market, and if population growth is rising, that's a good thing for you. And we're going to talk about appreciation in the last bullet point. But just to recap here, you go to Mason, Ohio, not only can you have a bunch of fun playing at Kings Island and golfing and going to the Western and Southern Open and all that fun stuff, but you also can know that there's a lot of good jobs, and huge companies like P&G are driving not only working there, but how that then spills out over the entire community, and the economy is boosted by such a powerful and strong business in the community. Okay, number third reason why you might want to consider Mason, Ohio: schools, top rated schools. So within all the Cincinnati market, there are some neighborhoods that are really good. If you look in Kentucky, you're talking about Fort Thomas schools, and you can check out our videos we've done on Fort Thomas. Beechwood schools as well are really strong in northern Kentucky. But in Ohio, some of the strongest districts are Mason. Anderson Township is another really strong school district. But if you look down here on niche.com, niche.com gives Mason, Ohio an overall A+ niche grade in terms of a place to live here in Warren County, which, by the way, I don't think I've said yet, but Mason, we're looking on kind of the northeast side of Cincinnati, right in between I-71, which shoots up to Columbus, and I-75, which is going to go a little bit west up towards Toledo and into Michigan. And Mason's sitting right in between those two major interstates on the northeast side of the city. And so the public schools are rated A+. Let's see if I can scroll down here. This site has a ton of great information about the median home value, and best places to live rankings, crime and safety. We'll talk about that in just a second. And here we are with the top public schools serving Mason. So William Mason High School with an A+ grading from niche.com, Mason Middle School with an A+ rating, Mason Intermediate Elementary School with an A+ rating, Western Row Elementary A+, and Kings Mills A. So you can see all of the different schools here, and where they're ranked, but excellent A+ rated school districts. So again, not only now when you're looking at a neighborhood to live in, it's important not only to have schools for your kids. You want your kids to have a great education, but again, if you're thinking about home value for you, and if you're thinking about buying a house and the amount of money that goes into the investment of buying a house, you want to choose a neighborhood that's going to be strong and you're going to see a good return on that investment. And so a top school district, even if you don't have kids, a top school district might be a community you want to consider because, again, besides jobs, besides the fun, top schools are going to be another reason why more people are going to be driven to that community. So having a top-rated school district is helpful not only if you have kids and you want them to have a great education, but it's important if you want your home value to appreciate over time. So that's number 3. So we've got number 1, fun. Number 2, jobs. Number 3, schools. Number 4 is going to be safety and diversity of the community. Now, the safety, it's rated B+. In terms of violent crimes, and you can look at the different numbers here in terms of burglary, theft, assault, and where they rank nationally. You can see much lower than the national numbers, which is why it has such a high graded crime and safety rating from niche.com here. And again, the residents have a B+ diversity. So you can see different information here about the education levels. But if I click into here, you can learn more about what best describes the people who live in. And here are some of the different demographics in terms of education levels, age. Let's see if I can click onto age here more. It's pretty diverse here. And racial diversity. So it's not very high on African American or Hispanic. It's mostly white, 80% white. But what you do see in Mason is one of the higher Asian demographics inside of Cincinnati. So that's where you see a little bit of that diversity coming into play. It's not super diverse, right? It's not the most diverse, but in terms of Cincinnati, it's one of the more racially diverse neighborhoods that you have. So safety and diversity are the 4th reason why you might want to consider Mason, Ohio. And the last reason, we're going to go back here, that you might want to consider Mason, Ohio is appreciation. And so all of these things we've talked about, the fun, the jobs, population growth, safety and diversity, when you have a good place to live, I want to pop over here to the top 5 factors. This is on housing.com. The top 5 factors that make property prices appreciate. So again, going back to thinking about this is your money. It's not only a place you're living, but oftentimes your housing choice is your biggest investment that people have. And so you want to choose a location where you're going to get a good return for your dollar. So what are the reasons that cause the factors that cause property prices to appreciate? Number 1 is demand and supply. Number 2, fiscal inflation. Number 3, the cost of borrowing. 4, the property market drivers. And 5, the population growth. So we've talked a lot about these things. But when, the biggest reason is probably supply and demand. And when there's increased demand to live in an area, but the supply is limited, so there's limited housing on the market, what that does is it's basic economics 101. When you have high demand and low supply, prices go up. That's the rule of economics. That's the rule of supply and demand. And that's what you have in Mason, Ohio. And I'm going to actually create a whole other video showing you what's happened in the last 2 years and the market statistics straight from the Cincinnati MLS that show what has happened in terms of supply and demand, in terms of the amount of inventory that's on the market, and in terms of price and what has happened to the median home value price over the last 2 years in Mason, Ohio. So supply and demand, fiscal inflation, which that's more of an external component, but when the government keeps printing out stimulus checks to everyone in the country, you're going to see inflation. So you're going to see a rise in appreciation of the home price. Cost of borrowing, which interest rates continue to be low. Property market drivers such as business, the arrival of shopping malls, zoning regulations, public transport, infrastructure. So things like that P&G R&D facility that's going in, like a large infrastructure project like that, where businesses are investing in the area. These are market drivers that are going to help appreciation long term. And that's going to lead to population growth. And again, that comes back to supply and demand. Okay, so there you have it. 5 reasons why Mason, Ohio is a great place to live. Again, whether you're in the Cincinnati area right now and you're thinking of moving, Or you're out of state, you've been maybe living on the coast or places where taxes are higher, or maybe you're not getting as much for your dollar in terms of rent, and you're thinking, hey, I want to move back to the Midwest. I'm looking at different cities in the Midwest. Well, if you're considering Cincinnati, certainly Mason, Ohio is a top reason, and maybe, just maybe, one day you or your kid can have an experience like I had on the Vortex at Kings Island, where my heart was racing and I was scared to death. But I went down the roller coaster with the girl of my dreams, the girl that I was infatuated with as a 15-year-old kid at Boone County High School. All right, guys, that's all I got. If you like this video, again, please like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be bringing you so much more real estate content this year. It's my goal to just really kind of give a good look at what's happening in the Cincinnati real estate market, and we'd love to have you guys come on board and follow this channel. If you wouldn't mind, leave a comment below. Tell us why you ask any questions you might have. Tell us why you might be considering Mason, Ohio, or if you're local, tell us your favorite memory at Kings Island. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.